Hello and welcome to Watch Releases Recap for the week of April 5th until April the 12th. We had Watches and Wonders 2024, so there are quite a few releases to get to. First, let's begin with Bulgari and their new Octo Finissimo Ultra. In 2022, Bulgari created Octo Finissimo Ultra, which became the thinnest watch in the world at 1.8 millimeters in case thickness. Then later that year, Richard Mille, in collaboration with Ferrari, created even a thinner watch at 1.75 millimeters in case thickness. Fast forward to today, Watches and Wonders 2024, and Bulgari once again is a crowned champion of the thinnest watch in the world at 1.7 millimeters. Looking at this watch, of course, it's very impractical. It's just a bit of an engineering flex. No one is actually buying these watches to wear on a daily basis, but as a watch enthusiast, I can't help but be excited about something like this existing. I don't think there's much thinner the watches can get. I mean, how thin can we go? 1 millimeter? At that point, I don't even know if it's possible because you still have to fit the crystal. Yes, this one comes with a sapphire crystal. You still have to fit all the movement components. So I think it might be a little thinner in the future, but we're reaching that limit. What is also kind of cool is that this new caliber BVL 180 is not only the thinnest caliber in the world, but it's also the thinnest caliber that's COSC certified. So not only is this a very thin watch, it is also a very accurate watch. Now, they're not making a lot of them. There's only 20 pieces to be made, and they are quite expensive, $530,000. Yeah, quite a bit of money, but it's still kind of a bargain if you compare it to the Richard Mille and the Ferrari watch, because that one was like $1.9 million. So this one here is 25% of the price. Hey, good deal. The new Nomos Tangente 38 date, also known as the Icon in 31 color compositions. Glasshout is a region in Germany that's famous for making watches. That's actually where Nomos as a company is located. In fact, there are quite a few different German companies that are located in this region. Well, this year, the region celebrates 175 years of watchmaking. And to celebrate this special occasion, Nomos is releasing 31 different colors of Tangente 38mm watch. Each color variation is limited to 175 pieces to celebrate the 175th anniversary, which is kind of cool. But my favorite part about these watches is that they're actually cheaper than the regular version. That's very unique in a watch community. Usually the special editions, limited editions are more expensive, but in this case, you're actually getting a bit of a deal. So these watches come in the same case. They'll still 38.5 millimeters in case diameter, 6.8 millimeters in case height. They're still powered by the same in-house DUW4101 hand-wound movement, 42 hours of power reserve with 23 joules, and they're priced at $2,310 with a display caseback. The new Zenith Defy Skyline chronographs. I swear, I thought this watch already existed, but I was actually confusing it with a different Zenith Defy. That one is called Extreme. It is a very similar looking watch, just in a larger case. But now there's the new Defy Skyline Chrono in a smaller case. This one is 42 millimeters in case diameter, still quite large, but a little bit more reasonable for majority of people. What's weird is that I couldn't find the exact thickness of this watch. It doesn't say it on the website. It doesn't say it on any of the press releases. So I'm not exactly sure, but probably it's a bit on the thicker side. I'm guessing somewhere around 15, maybe even 16 millimeters. There are 3 different color combinations. There's the blue one, the black one, and the cream dial one. The standout feature of these chronos is of course that movement. When you think about Zenith chronographs, you instantly think of the El Primero. These ones are powered by the El Primero 3600, which is an in-house movement. It measures 1/110th of a second. So the chronograph seconds hand goes around the dial once every second, which is kind of neat. It's really cool to see it in person. And of course, these movements are works of art. These watches feature a display caseback, so you can truly appreciate this 36,000 beats per minute movement. As far as the price goes, they're about $12,300, which I think is kind of reasonable, kind of expensive for a watch like this. I don't even know how to judge a watch like this. Zenith and Hublot and now even Tag Heuer have sort of created this weird category among themselves. So whatever this watch costs, I guess they can dictate. The new Zenith Defy Revival A3648. This new Zenith is actually based on a model from 1969 called the A3648. If you look at the pictures of the two watches side by side, you can definitely see the inspiration behind this model. Now this one comes with 600 meters of water resistance, just like the original. It also comes with a diver style bezel, unidirectional, which is kind of cool. But the unique part of this watch is that it's only 37 millimeters in case diameter, just like the original was, which would make it sort of female wrist friendly, except for the thickness. It's almost 16 millimeters in case height, 15.5 millimeters to be exact. So I'm not exactly sure who this watch is for. I guess it's for people that prefer smaller watches but don't mind the case height and still want 600 meters of water resistance. It's kind of a weird release. Again, I'm not sure exactly who this watch is for. Maybe you like it, leave a comment in the comment section below, let me know. As far as the movement goes, this one is powered by the Elite 760. It's an in-house movement with 50 hours of power reserve and it beats at 4 Hz. And these watches are priced at $7,700 US. Lastly, let's talk about the Zenith Defy Extreme Diver. So another Zenith, another Defy series watch, but this one is quite different, although it looks very similar to the watch we just talked about. The main difference between the two releases is the case diameter. These ones are larger, 42.5 millimeters to be exact, but they still have the same case thickness, 15.5 millimeters. They are also sort of based on the same release from 1969, so you can see that sort of design philosophy carried on with this release. They also have 600 meters of water resistance, but these ones are powered by a different movement, an El Primero caliber 3620, which is their in-house movement that beats at 36,000 vibrations per hour. So this one is the true high beat movement. It's what you think when you think Zenith. I'm not sure why they only added this movement in this watch, but not the other one. Well, I guess they wanted to charge more money for this one. This one is priced at $11,300, so quite a bit more money than the previous release. I just don't, again, understand who this watch is really for. To me, it kind of looks ugly. I don't know. All of this is sort of subjective, but I'm not a big fan of how these watches look. And the price tag of $11,500, it just seems like too much. I'm not going to be surprised if I see these watches on the gray market at the 50% of MSRP. The next generation of Oris Aquis date. Aquis is an important line for Oris watches. It's probably their most popular collection, and now it got a very slight update. The only reason why I actually want to talk about these watches is because they're very popular, and in case you were in the market for one of these watches, I suggest you wait and get one of the new novelties. So it has a few very slight updates. It still is powered by the two different calibers. There is the Celita based movement and their in-house caliber movement. The price stayed the same, but the few changes are to the overall case architecture. It's a little bit more streamlined. From my understanding, it sits better on the wrist. Also, the crown guard's shape was changed slightly. The bracelet version tapers more, and overall, from people that experience these new models, they're a lot more comfortable on the wrist. As far as the overall dimensions of the watch, they stayed pretty much the same, but again, on the wrist, the watch feels slimmer and smaller. And in terms of the pricing, they stayed about the same, so it goes from about $2.5 grand to about $4,200, depending on which version you go for, depending on which movement you go for, and also depending if you go for the bracelet or the rubber strap. But on the gray market, in a few months, these watches will be at a steal. The new Tag Heuer Monaco split seconds. Tag Heuer Monaco needs no introduction. It has that iconic case shape. It's a square watch, which is a bit divisive. Some people like it, some people don't. Of course, Steve McQueen wore one of these watches, which made it even more iconic. Actually, Max Verstappen wears one of these watches, but for some reason, nobody ever talks about Max wearing Tag Heuer Monaco. I mean, yes, Tag Heuer is a sponsor, but still, Max in his own right is now a motorsport legend, but for some reason everyone keeps on talking about Steve McQueen, but not about the modern drivers. But that's just besides the point. Anyways, now Tag Heuer celebrates 55 years of the square shape, and they're releasing a split seconds chronograph. Split seconds chronographs are very, very cool. It's a difficult complication to achieve, and of course it's not appreciated by everyone, but if you're a true enthusiast, you know how awesome this complication can be and can look. If you've seen one in person, it's just so amazing. This new model is available in a blue motif or in a red motif. I think red one actually looks quite sick. The blue one also looks cool, but it looks a little bit too average, I'd say. It looks a little bit too Monaco. The red one looks very interesting and very sort of new. It features a skeletonized dial. Of course, you want to see that movement. And by the way, these watches are powered by the in-house TH81-00 split-second chronograph movement with a 65-hour power reserve and a frequency rate of 5 Hz. Now, these watches, as you would imagine, are not cheap. In fact, they're like $150,000 US. I'm sort of two minds on this. On one hand, it's really cool, but on the other hand, it's so expensive. I mean, you can have a Tag Heuer Monaco, like a standard one for what, 7 grand? And then you have this one for 150 grand. Yeah, it's a lot more complicated because of that split second chronograph function, but still, $150,000? I don't know. It seems a little bit too steep. There's another Tag Heuer release. It's called the Carrera Glassbox Panda, reference 7753SN. SN at the end of the reference refers to silver and black, but not black, noir, because they're fancy like that. The Carrera Glassbox case shape was released, I think, last year, and a lot of watch enthusiasts really love that move. On the wrist, the watch looks and feels great, and it has sort of a unique case shape, that glass box where the dial sort of curves outwards. It's a really cool effect. The pictures, the videos don't do it justice. You really have to see it in person. Now, back in the day, before this release, that glass box shape was not available in a panda color combination. Well, now it is. Everything else except for the color combination has stayed the same. It still comes in the same 39mm case diameter, is just under 14mm in case thickness, 100 meters of water resistance. It is still powered by the same in-house caliber Heuer 02 with 80 hours of power reserve, and these ones will not be a limited release, and they're priced at 6,500 Swiss francs, so that's what, like 8,000 US dollars. Not a bad price at all, and a really cool watch. I think a lot more reasonable than the split-second Tag Heuer Monaco. The new IWC Portugieser Perpetual Calendars. IWC is known for their perpetual calendars and their annual calendars, and now we have a few different new models added to their perpetual calendar collection. These watches are available in quite a few different color combinations, and the cases differ between white gold and yellow gold versions. My favorite is probably this blue version. I think that looks really nice, although the yellow gold case with a black dial also looks really awesome. Now, just like a lot of other IWC watches, these watches are quite large. The case diameter is 44.4 millimeters. It's also a thick watch at almost 15 millimeters in case height. They feature 50 meters of water resistance, and they're all powered by the caliber 56616 automatic perpetual calendar movement. It has a lot of different complications, including apparently the most accurate moon phase complication, which is kind of awesome. And also this one features the moon phase from the southern and the northern hemispheres. So a lot of complicated watchmaking went into creating something like that. And of course, as you would imagine, with the white gold or yellow gold, these are expensive watches. $46,500 for the yellow gold, and it's $47,500 for the one in white gold case. The new Grand Seiko nature-inspired GMTs. This year we got two different nature-inspired Grand Seiko GMTs. There's the one with the two-tone bezel, the green and the white. That's the reference SBGJ277. There's also the one with the black bezel and a spring drive movement. That's the reference SBGE307. And the two references, even though they have a very different case shape, the case dimensions are actually quite similar. They both feature about a 44.5mm case diameter, and they're both around 15mm in case height. Now the lug width is different between the two versions, as you would imagine, because the lugs on the two versions are quite different. Also, they are powered by different movements. The one with the black bezel is powered by the spring drive movement caliber 9R66, and the one with the green bezel is powered by the automatic movement 9S86. Both movements are high beat, both are beating at 36,600 vibrations per hour. However, the spring drive movement has 72 hours of power reserve, as opposed to the standard automatic movement only having 55 hours of power reserve. And of course, the price between the two versions is different. The spring drive movement one is almost $11,000, $10,700 to be exact, and the other version is $6,800. Out of the two, I actually preferred the green one. I think the dial looks a lot cleaner, although to be completely honest, I'm not a big fan of either one of these versions. I just think they're too big. For some reason, Grand Seiko cannot figure out their sports models. They always make them too large. Make the watch in a 40mm case and you have a winner on your hands. But that's not the only Grand Seiko release. We also got a couple of white Birch models, reference SLGW007 and SLGW003. These models are cool for several reasons. Number one, the dial looks awesome, but we've seen similar dials on other watches. Besides the dial, these watches actually feature a new movement, caliber 9SA4, which is the next version of the caliber 9SA5. Now, one of the versions is in an 18 karat rose gold case. The other version is in a titanium case. However, the diameter for both is exactly the same, 38.6 millimeters. They're also very thin watches, 9.95 millimeters, so just under 10 millimeters. But of course, they are manual wind watches, so you would expect them to be quite thin. They only feature 30 meters of water resistance because these are dress watches through and through. And what I really like is that they feature a power reserve indicator on the back, which is the right location for a power reserve indicator. Why not move a power reserve indicator to the back in the spring drive movements? Just makes a lot more sense, and it will eliminate all the complaints that people have with the spring drive movements. As far as the prices go, the titanium version is $10,700 US, and the rose gold version is $45,000. So quite a big difference between the two. And there's one more Grand Seiko release that I wanted to highlight. It's the reference SLGH021. I think this new model looks awesome. It has this green frosted look to the dial. It's of course inspired by some river or some lake somewhere in Japan, just like a lot of other Grand Seiko models. It is sort of getting a little tired because I swear I saw a very similar dial released just a few months ago, and I talked about it on this very show. Well, now this dial is available in a new model, in a new case. This one is the stainless steel case, 40 millimeters in case diameter, only 11.7 millimeters in case height, 100 meters of water resistance. It is powered by the caliber 9SA5 automatic movement, beating at 36,000 vibrations per hour. It has 47 joules and 80 hours of power reserve. Now, what I'm not so keen on with this release is the fact that it still has the same clasp. I mean, I'm just gonna keep on complaining about it until they change it. If they're gonna do so many different models, and if they're gonna introduce so many limited editions, by the way, this is a limited edition, why not improve the clasp? It's the only thing that's missing from these watches. Everyone agrees they're very handsome, they wear great, just improve the damn clasp and you have a winner on your hands. This watch is also a bit on the expensive side, $10,400. I mean, it's not outrageous, but it's up there. And as I said, it's limited edition, limited to 1,000 pieces. And that's it. That's the video. Thank you for watching all the way until the end. Of course, these are not all of the releases from Watches and Wonders. These are just the releases that I chose to highlight. There's a lot of brands that I didn't even talk about. JLC, Cartier, Patek Philippe, Alonge. There's so many watch releases that I didn't even get a chance to highlight yet. Maybe leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what were some of your favorite releases that I highlighted and what were some of your favorite releases that I didn't highlight. I always enjoy reading your comments. Also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.